Hello and welcome back to another video. Today here again on Forza Motorsport to take a very first look at the latest update, Update 11, which brings with it a new track, which actually it returns from previous titles, and 2 new cars, as well as all of the usual new online and offline events. Let's begin with the new track then, which you are of course seeing in the background of today's video. Road Atlanta is finally here in Forza Motorsport, although again, like with a lot of the tracks they're adding, it's not technically actually new to Forza. It has been in previous games, so why it's taking quite so long to add it, I'm not quite sure. Anyway, it has 2 layouts, the Grand Prix and the Short Circuit. All I can think is that they're just adding a track every other update to try and fill them out a little bit, because otherwise, to be honest, there's really not that much new content. So, as well as the new track, there is of course a whole load of new events over in the campaign mode. So, if we head over to the career, go across to the featured tab and scroll down, we see that the Road to Race Tour has been added, and this will be all about racing the road version of a car and then going and racing the race version of a car. So as you can see, we've got the Corvette Z06 road car and race car, then we've got the 458 Italia road car and race car, and then we've got the Huracan road car and race car, and the Porsche 911 GT3 RS road car and race car. And if you complete all of those, you win the first new to Forza car, the Aston Martin Vantage GTE, although it's already the old one, so yeah, although it's a cool car, not sure I'm going to bother going and unlocking it. And then if we go down to the Open Tour, this is all kind of as usual. The Open Tour's pretty much the same each update. There's kind of a tour in each class. This series though, or this update, if you complete it, you win the Nissan race car you see here, which again, like the Aston, is incredibly cool, but I find the single-player races in this game particularly dull, so I'm probably not going to do all of these to bother unlocking 2 new vehicles, to be honest. The featured multiplayer is all pretty similar to how it was before. There's your usual introductory events, which of course I've done, featured events, and I think the only new thing here is that there's a new GT4 series, which contains some of the race cars that didn't quite fit into GT3 or GT2, which got split in the previous update, so I think that's all that's new. Then you've of course got your open events and your driver rating, which I haven't looked at for months. And these are the upcoming Rivals events for Update 11. There was, of course, also the very long list of bugs and fixes. So there have been fixes to all of these stability and performance problems, gameplay issues, career mode, livery editor, user interface, drivatar AI, cars, and accessibility features. Now, the fix on that list that stood out to me was the Ferrari 458 Italia, where they fixed an issue with the upgraded race wing, where it appears to be floating when viewing the car in Forza Vista. Now, this is actually the wing that went with the wide body, and it's become a bit of a joke on the internet that this still hasn't been fixed since launch. So I thought, given this was quite such an important one, I would go and test it for myself. However, there was a problem. When you apply the body kit, nothing happens. The stats change, but visually it looks exactly the same. And if you try to apply a rear wing, the race one appears, which is the Forza Aero, but I think the one they're supposed to have fixed is this one. So it would appear they've fixed it by making it just not visible on the car at all. And that is going to do it for today's video here on Forza Motorsport, taking a very first look at the latest update, Update 11. It is incredibly cool to see that Aston Martin Vantage GTE and the Nissan added, although given there's quite so much campaign to work through to unlock them, I'm honestly not bothered enough to go and do that. I really don't enjoy the single player campaign in this game at all, so although they're cool, I'm not going to be getting them. The track, it's good to see it return. I'm not going to complain about that, but it should have been in since launch. It's not new content. Removing tracks and then reintroducing them every 2 months it's not new content. It is recycled. Whether they've had to rebuild it or not, who knows at this point, but that's not really the point. It's coming back to a series that it was previously already in, and to be honest, the track looks exactly the same as it did previously. So, yeah, new track, 2 new cars. It's good to see them all in here, but it's not really enough content for an update. Particularly as I'm not going to bother winning the cars, so for me it's just a track, essentially, which isn't terribly exciting, and then knowing there's not going to be a track next series and we're going to have to wait till update 13 for the next one is just disappointing. But anyway, there we go. That is kind of sums up Forza Motorsport, really, doesn't it? Disappointing. As ever, though, do let me know your thoughts on Update 11 and on the state of Forza Motorsport as a whole. But for today's video, that is going to be all. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back with the next one very soon.